Welcome, beloved souls. You found your way here, and it's not by coincidence. You've been led to this moment, to this place, for reasons that go beyond the surface of what we see and experience every day. Deep within, you've always known that there was something more to your journey, something higher. Whether this realization has been a constant companion or something you're only now beginning to sense. Know this: you are part of a divine plan, a purpose that's been unfolding from the moment you took your first breath. Today, we are going to explore that journey. Your journey, the path that may have felt isolated, misunderstood, even painful at times, but which has always been leading you somewhere far beyond what you could have imagined. Have you ever looked back at your life, at your childhood, and wondered why, even then, you felt different? Why was there a certain weight you carried that others around you didn't seem to notice or understand? You viewed the world through a lens that seemed far older, far wiser than your years would suggest. There was a quiet knowing within you, even when you couldn't quite put it into words. You may not have understood it at the time, but there was a part of you that recognized that you weren't like everyone else. Perhaps you even struggled with this feeling like an outsider, not fitting in with friends or even your family. The world didn't seem to reflect the inner reality you were living, and that caused you to feel at times disconnected, isolated. But let me ask you this: what if all of that, the confusion, the loneliness, the struggles, were never a mistake? What if it was all part of a greater design, shaping you into who you were always meant to be? In today's message, we'll explore something profound, something that many of you may have lived through without fully understanding its significance. We're going to talk about why those who are chosen, like you, often seem older when they're young, carrying the wisdom and the burdens of lifetimes, only to grow younger in spirit as they age. We'll walk through the trials and inner battles you've faced, the chaos that shaped you, the anxieties and fears that once held you back, and how all of that was part of a divine plan. You see, the struggles you've experienced, the feelings of being different, they weren't just random occurrences. They were preparation for something greater, something far more significant than you could have imagined. When you were younger, you might have felt lost, your identity constantly shifting, uncertain of who you were or where you were heading. Your soul was searching, always searching, for something real, something meaningful. You looked at the world around you and felt out of place, as if everyone else was playing a game you didn't quite understand. But over time, something began to change, didn't it? Slowly, quietly, without even realizing it at first, something inside you started to shift. God was working in you, through you, even in those moments when you felt most disconnected, most lost. He was guiding you, even through the storms that raged within. The fears, the confusion, the doubts, they all started to give way to something deeper, something more peaceful. A stillness began to emerge, a quiet confidence that wasn't based on the world's validation, but on a growing sense of who you truly are. And as that peace grew within you, it began to reflect in every aspect of your life. You may have noticed that now, when you look in the mirror, you see someone different. Not just in appearance, but in presence. There is a glow about you, a quiet strength that wasn't there before. This is the light of God shining through you, the manifestation of the work He has been doing in your heart. This transformation is something not everyone will understand, and that's okay. It's not meant for everyone to understand. It's a deeply personal journey, one that has been unfolding within you for years, maybe even your whole life. And today, we're going to dive deeper into that journey. Why is it that those who are chosen often carry an old soul from a young age, burdened by a maturity that others cannot comprehend? Why does it seem like you've lived through lifetimes of struggle, even before you had the chance to fully live? You may have noticed that, in your youth, you carried the weight of the world in your eyes. There was a certain gravity to you, a depth that others couldn't quite put their finger on. But you noticed it, didn't you? You felt it, that feeling being out of step with the world around you. The laughter of others seemed lighter, easier, while yours always felt a little more cautious, a little more guarded. You were different, and you knew it, even if you couldn't quite explain why. The world didn't understand you. Your friends, your family, They didn't see the depth of your struggle, the battles you were fighting within. And that loneliness, that feeling of being misunderstood, it left its mark on you. You wore that weight not just in your heart, but on your body. There was a time when you might have looked in the mirror and seen someone older than your years, someone who had carried too much, too soon. There was a time when your reflection didn't match the person you hoped to become. You felt disconnected from yourself, from your body, from the image you saw staring back at you. You didn't nourish yourself the way you should have, perhaps because you didn't know how, or maybe because you didn't feel worthy of the care you needed. Your body felt foreign, like a home that never quite fit, a source of discomfort rather than peace. You wanted to belong, you wanted to fit in, to be accepted, and so, you may have tried to mold yourself to the expectations of others, even though deep down, you knew that was never the answer. The clothes you wore, the roles you played, they never felt quite right, did they? They were just masks, temporary disguises, to help you move through a world that didn't seem to have a place for you. But while you were trying to find your footing in the world, something deeper was happening. A transformation was unfolding, even if you couldn't see it yet. God's hand was always upon you, guiding you through every storm, every trial. Even in the moments when you felt utterly lost, when the weight of the world seemed too heavy to bear, He was there, shaping you, molding you for a purpose that only He could see. Slowly, over time, something shifted. You began to find yourself, not in the world, but within. You learned to quiet the noise, to listen to the still, small voice of God within your soul. You realized that this body, this vessel, was not something to be neglected or scorned, but something to be cherished. You began to care for it, not out of vanity, but out of respect for the gift God had given you. You nourished it, not just with food or exercise, but with peace, with stillness, with love. And as you cared for yourself, something remarkable began to happen. The battles you once fought so fiercely within your mind, the confusion that clouded your identity, started to fade. The anxieties that had gripped you for so long began to loosen their hold. The fear that once held you back started to dissolve. And in its place, a new sense of self emerged, a calmness, a clarity, a knowing. You began to see yourself not through the eyes of the world, but through the eyes of God. And in that knowing, you found peace. That peace started to radiate from within. You noticed it, didn't you? Your face, once marked by the stress and turmoil of trying to be everything the world expected, now glows with the peace of knowing who you truly are. Your body, once burdened by confusion and doubt, now moves with grace, with confidence. Your style, once all over the place as you tried to find your identity, is now simple, authentic, a reflection of the calm within. And others noticed too. Some were drawn to your newfound peace, to the strength and quiet confidence that now radiates from within. They admired the transformation, the glow. But not everyone responded with kindness. Some were threatened by your light, by the growth they saw in you. They may have tried to tear you down, to diminish the glow that you've worked so hard to cultivate. But here's the truth. They can't touch it. The strength you carry now is from God, and the glow that shines from within is a reflection of His presence. It is a light that no amount of envy, judgment, or malice can dim. Now, when you look back at your younger self, at those photos you once hid away, you no longer see someone weak or lost. You see someone brave. You see the strength it took to survive those years, the courage it took to keep going, even when the world didn't understand you. You see beauty in the face that once made you cringe. You see the seeds of the person you've become, the person God has always seen. Those earlier versions of you, they were building you, shaping you, preparing you for this very moment. They fought battles that you've since forgotten, but battles that were necessary for your growth. And now, as you stand here today, stronger, wiser, and more at peace, you carry with you the lessons they taught you, the resilience they built within you. You no longer seek the approval of others because you know that the love of God is all you need. You no longer try to fit into the mold the world has set for you because you've realized that your path is unique, chosen, and blessed. So as we close this moment of reflection, I want you to remember this. You are chosen. You are loved. You are exactly where you are meant to be. And the journey that brought you here, no matter how difficult, has only made you stronger, more beautiful, and more aligned with the divine purpose that was written for you from the very beginning. And for those of you who are still in the midst of your journey, who look in the mirror and don't yet see the beauty, the peace, the strength, take heart. The transformation is happening, even if you can't see it yet. God is with you, guiding you, molding you. And one day you will look back, just as I have, and see that all along you were becoming the person you were always meant to be. That day will come, and when it does, you will be proud. Proud of the journey, proud of the battles you fought, and proud of the person you've become.